Hey guys, MC Shadow here, bringing you a guide for productive bees. I will hop into some of the basics that helped me get started with this mod. Then, after covering some of the basics, I will go into breeding and harvesting resources from your productive bees. Let's get to it. So, the first thing that we're going to need to do is determine which bee we would like to obtain. In this example, I'm going to be looking for the iron bee. You can type in the JEI and just search up whatever type of resource bee you're looking for, and it should pop up in this area. So I'm going to click on the iron bee, and in this menu, you'll see two bees that are needed for actually making an iron bee. This right here below just shows what you need to give to these bees to put them kind of in the state where they're ready to breed. For these ones, you can use any flower, so it's very easy to actually do that. But right now, we need the ashy mining bee and the crystalline bee. The crystalline bee actually comes from a quartz nest. So these are the things that we're going to be looking for or making in order to get this bee. The other bee that we are looking for is the ashy mining bee. This bee can spawn from gravel, sand, and dirt. So in order to find these nests, basically there's two ways that you can go about it. You can find them in the overworld or wherever they're located, as the other one is in the nether. But the easiest method, at least that I had found, was actually crafting the specific nest. You can see it's very simple. You can just take dirt and a wooden sword, and that will make you a dirt nest. So going back to my inventory, you can see that I already have a dirt nest made, and I'll place that down. So there's two ways to go about actually getting a bee. You could use the nest locator, but I have found that this is pretty difficult to use. Right now, it is not tuned. And a helpful tip for when it's not tuned, this will actually allow you to find the normal beehives. It'll tell you kind of how far away are they. To show that example, I will tune right now to dirt. There, now it is tuned to dirt. Oh, no, sorry. No, we actually need to go down, get to dirt. We were on a grass block. So now when I right click with this, it will say a nest was located 6.8 meters away. And you can see as we get further away, it'll actually just keep updating that distance. So this is one way to find it in the overworld, is you can tune it to the correct material and actually use this locator to find the bee nest. It may not actually have a bee inside of it, so you're not really guaranteed a bee if you do this method. So for me, I crafted the nests, and then what I used next is a honey treat. You can kind of see in the top left corner, it gives you a little bit more information about the nest when you hover over them. It says the nest is empty, use a honey treat on it to attract a bee. The bottom line there that says the nest can attract bees in this location is something crucial to pay attention to. The nest needs to be in a biome that it would naturally be found in order to actually attract a bee. Now, to make these honey treats, you're gonna need to have, honeycomb and honey. So you will have to get some basic resources from kind of the standard Minecraft beehives. You can get honeycomb by actually shearing on a bee nest, and then you can get honey by using a glass bottle on a bee nest as well. So in order to make this honey treat, it's just simply one honeycomb and one honey bottle. That will allow us to actually start the process of repopulation. You can see the cooldown in the top left corner, and you can use additional treats to speed it up. And so basically you can, use as many as you'd like. You can also wait out the timer if you don't have enough treats. Keep reducing it further and further. Yeah, so basically once this bee spawns, I do recommend using a bee cage, or if you do find one from villagers or dungeon, you can actually use a sturdy bee cage. The difference is this bee cage will go away after one use. This one has infinite uses. And I'll show that here shortly. and then we'll kind of get into where you're going to want to put your bee and things that are needed to actually help your bee produce resources for you. The bee should be spawning, and so you'll see we actually got a chocolate mining bee. This is another bee that actually has a chance of spawning on here, but we're looking for an ashy one. So what we would do is we reapply this. We can go through it again and see if we can get the ashy bee to spawn. So the basic bees do have a chance of spawning various amounts of bees in these nests. So you may have to do this a couple of times before getting the bee that you desire. So hopefully this time we'll actually get the bee that we were looking for. Well, it looks like we've got another chocolate mining bee. I'm going to cut it here, and then I will come back once I have the correct bee. Alrighty, so I wanted to also show those same steps again, but trying to get the crystalline bee that we need. This is the quartz nest, and again you can see the nest is empty. Use a honey treat on it to attract the bee, and so we are good to go, and we can start using this. The benefit of this is that there's only one bee, I believe, that can spawn out of here, which is the crystalline bee. So we should be guaranteed it once this population timer is finished, and then we will be able to start making our iron bee, and then from there I will show you how to set up the advanced oak beehives to actually get the resources from these productive bees. So now you can see that we have the ashy mining bee and we have the crystalline bee. So we are good to now get them together, breed them to get our iron bee. I'll be right back. Alright, so now I'm back here. We actually just have a little container that I'm actually placing the bees in. I did want to prove or show kind of the point that I was trying to iterate. If you read this, now that second line says there are no bees in this location that will move into the nest. Again, just letting you know that you need to actually place the nest in the right biome in order to attract the bee. So, right now, we're going to go into here and place both of our bees. You just right click. You can see that the basic bee cage will actually go away. If you do use the sturdy one, it will not go away. But nice. Now we have both of the bees that we need in order to make our iron bee. So I'm just going to search up a flower. You can use any flower to actually get these bees to breed. So right now, we can give both of them a flower, and then they will produce copper bee. And I believe the other option is tin and iron. So we'll actually have to do this a couple times, I believe, to get the iron bee. So these two basically make your basic metals. You have tin, copper, and iron. So you'll have to wait, for a short cooldown basically on their breeding, so that you can actually attempt again to get the iron bee. But it is good to note that you can get these other bees as well. I will be back once I have gotten the iron bee from these two bees. Alright, so I'm back now, and we actually were able to get the iron bee. If you hold the flower, it will attract the bees to you. This is kind of helpful. Just if you need to bring them together, if you have multiple bees in here for breeding, it'll bring them all to you so that you can actually hand out the flowers. But you can see here, we now have our iron bee. You can recapture that and put it in your bee cage. And it'll show up here. So, I'm going to put together the structure for the iron bee and actually use this advanced oak beehive. Alright, so now that we have the iron bee, we need to set up an advanced beehive in order to actually have it produce iron comb. The other thing we'll need to know is bee flowering. It's going to require anything made out of iron in order for the bee to actually start producing the comb. So, I have currently set up behind here an advanced beehive just in the center of this little building that I made pretty quickly, and we'll place down the iron bee. Now, the iron bee will just kind of float around, not really do anything because we don't have anything of iron in here, but I do have an iron block, And as soon as I place that down, the bee will start to actually pollinate over the iron block and go back into the beehive. Once it's in the beehive, it'll be put on a cooldown, and once that cooldown is complete, it'll exit the beehive and produce the comb. So, they'll be doing this animation, kind of just like a bee breakdown. All right, so now the bee is in the hive. We can see the iron bee located here. It's kind of on a cooldown, and as soon as it exits the beehive, we'll actually have our resources. So I'll come back once it's actually exited and show kind of what is in here and some other things that we can do to improve this advanced oak beehive. All right, so we are back now, and you can see that the iron comb has been produced and a small bit of honey. What you can do is place glass bottles in here, and this system will actually automatically produce the honey once it's ready, and it'll fill it up and dump it into this inventory as well. So right now we have one iron comb, and the bee basically exited, re-fertilized itself, and then went back into the hive. And once it exits again, we'll have another iron comb. Now, in order to make improvements to this advanced beehive, you can make what is called an expansion box. And so you just place that on top, and this will expand it to actually being able to contain 5 bees. And you'll get this on the side showing that there can be 4 upgrades applied to this beehive. Now, in the JEI, you can look up those upgrades here and actually go through kind of the ones that you would want. Generally, for these beehives, I tend to do the speed one. This is probably what you'll focus on early on until you get to draconic bees. Once you get to the draconic bees, then you'll be able to actually use this productivity upgrade, because it requires these draconic chunks from those draconic bees. So for the speed upgrade though, it's super simple. All it requires is clocks and comb. So basically after your bees have produced a while, you can actually just make these comb blocks and use them for the upgrades. And going back to here, the base upgrade will require a honey treat, some sticks, emeralds, and a diamond. But once you have that, then you can have these speed upgrades, and you can apply up to 4 of them in here, and that will greatly improve the production of these bees. So that's kind of just a simple overview of these beehives. This mentality can kind of be applied to most bees that you're trying to acquire. I will come out with a video detailing more of the specific or more unique bees, but I do hope this helps you get started on your journey using these productive bees. Thank you very much for watching this guide, and please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this content, and do leave feedback, as I am kind of early on in my career of creating these guides, but I really wanted to put it out there so that people had a resource if they wanted to start up these fun mods. Thank you very much.